Hi, most of you know me, but for those who don't, my name is Kevin Kelleher, and I'm going to share with you my story of how I came to have my own personal mission in life that is to help as many people as possible to become happy, healthy, and free. And my story starts actually when I was about 7 years old. I was enrolled in a public school, elementary school in Massachusetts, and I was bullied, and I wasn't appreciated. I wasn't given the opportunity to learn and grow in the ways that I needed to. I didn't fit the normal system, if you will. And I was bored. And I had the opportunity, thanks to my parents, who are very generous and kind and caring people, um, to choose to go to an alternative type of education that gave me a lot more freedom to learn and grow on my own and to really find myself and to determine what my best path would be and to take responsibility for my own effectiveness in society. And that opportunity really changed my life. And so flash forward 8 years later, I was 15 years old, and I was riding in the car with a friend of mine from that high school. We were in a Jeep Cherokee going down the freeway in Massachusetts on 495. And pulled up to, we were, cruising along 75 miles an hour going down the freeway, and we come up to this green pickup truck in the middle lane, and we're passing this green pickup truck, and the woman in the green pickup truck merges into us. And I know for a fact that she didn't check her blind spot because I was commenting on the quality of her mullet at the time to my friend. So this woman merges into us, clips us, and my friend, trying to keep us out of the median so we don't go rolling into the ditch, he corrects to try to keep us on the freeway. And then the rear wheels catch and we go flipping through the air. And we roll through the air, horizon's flipping, bounce, land on my corner, flip back into the air again, and then land upright, believe it or not, of all things. And like straight out of a movie, I look over at him, and he looks over at me, and he says, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah, I think so. Are you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm fine." And miraculously, we were fine. And a little later on at the hospital, my dad said something to me that stuck with me ever since, and has really helped guide my own path and my mission in life more than I realized for a long time. I didn't even realize how much until just a few years ago. What he said to me was, "Kevin, you're here for a reason. It's a miracle that you're alive right now. Someone must be looking out for you. You must be here for a reason." And I really took that to heart, and not so much in a like I'm Superman, I'm going to save the world kind of way, or like I'm better than anybody else, but more that we're all here for that same reason, to help as many people as possible to become happy, healthy, and free. Help as many people as possible while we're here on this world in whatever way that we uh, can best. What our gifts and talents are, we bring them to the world to help people. And I think people get lost from that mission sometimes. They get lost on the path of seeking money for it as the end result. And then they lose track of the fact of why they were earning money in the first place, which is the value they were creating for people. When you help someone, they value that. And when someone values what you're doing, they'll pay you for that value. And that whole concept of value creation is lost to a lot of people, and they just work for the money, and they're miserable, and it's sad. So I basically had the opportunity to have a midlife crisis at 15 instead of 50. And so as a result of that experience, I've been pursuing my entire life a mission to find ways that we can help people to live happier, healthier, and more free lives. When I was 19, my cousin Eric, he was like, "So, Kevin, you're always debating with people and you're always fighting for the good cause and stuff. Why don't you go into politics? Why don't you, run for president?" I just kind of laughed and I was like, "Heck no. I don't want to run for politics. That system is broken. It does not serve our people well at all. And frankly, it's not run by the people voting or even by the people in office. It's run by big business. It's run by the people who have money. I mean, we have a capitalist democracy here in the U.S., and so the people who have the money make the rules, and the people who have the money are the large corporations who are profit driven, and so they lobby for legislation that will enable them to continue to make profits, even though they externalize environmental and human impacts that they have. And so, without considering those fundamental humanistic components that keep us sustaining life on this planet, they say profit's our primary driver. And it's not like these people are bad people. They're trying to do good work. They're trying to provide jobs and livelihoods for people. But they have a primary driving motive at the core of their organization. As a public corporation, they have their fiduciary responsibility, which means it drives from the Great Depression when um, women were at home and hadn't been taught how to manage finances, and men were off at war sending paychecks home while they were fighting. And so there was this law instilled in the stock market, and any public corporation has this responsibility, this fiduciary responsibility. Their primary driver is to return profit to shareholders, because women didn't know how to invest at the time because they weren't educated on how. And so the idea was the organization was responsible for ensuring that women were able to make good investments in organizations. But that's gotten so skewed and so far away from the actual value that an organization creates that all of these unintended consequences and externalities have occurred as a result. And so for the last 10 years now, I've been studying sustainable business model innovation, learning how we can change the model of business, because it is a powerful, adaptive, creative catalyst for bringing value to our society. But we need to make sure it's driven by the right motive, and we need to make sure that it is not externalizing costs and creating unintended consequences that are going to be detrimentally impactful to our society. And so we're just at a stage in our evolution of these infrastructures for catalyzing value and change that they need to change. And I've had the great opportunity to learn through Tom McDermott's program on Ignite.com that I'm a systems thinker. I'm really passionate about analyzing systems, and I learned that I first found that passion when I changed schools from Berlin Memorial Public School to Sudbury Valley Private School in Massachusetts, and went from a really structured traditional educational curriculum to a very unstructured, very free, open, creative, self-responsible educational curriculum. And so I recognize that some systems serve people better than others, and I recognize that systems are also available to be changed or created anew to replace an ailing system. As Buckminster Fuller said, don't try to change the existing paradigm or the existing system. Replace it. Create a new system that renders the old system inferior. And so I've been seeking the most effective ways that we as a society can catalyze our change and bring value to the world in the most human sustainable way. That's why I studied the economics of sustainability at the School of Sustainability at Arizona State University and supply chain management at the W.P. Carey School of Business. And that's why my honors thesis was to co-found a student sustainability consulting group that helps organizations to operate more sustainably, to take a look at their vision and mission and primary drivers and ensure that that organization is really capturing its externalities and recognizing the good that it does in the community and prioritizing that good and that value that it creates and getting rewarded for that good value, and also recognizing that it may have externalities and it may have unintended consequences and it may have a negative impact in some areas, and learning how to address those impacts and improve them and become a more beneficial organization. And through the transparencies that are created in our society by social media and the interconnectedness of all humans on Earth. If you want to delve into that, you can read Ray Kurzweil's The Singularity is Near, but we won't go there right now. But at the very least, things like the liberation of nations like Libya and the awareness of atrocities occurring around the world, like with Kony 2012, these types of things are actually leading our whole world to be a lot more transparent. And our world is not necessarily better or worse for that. It's a double-edged sword. There are unintended consequences, or maybe there are intended consequences. But either way, the concept of privacy is essentially gone. And in return, we get the concept of transparency, which, if you embrace it, I think can be really positive and effective, because transparency lends people to have to be honest. It's like forces people to be honest about what they're doing. Forces people to just put it out there and say, listen, if you're going to find out anyway, because if I do something, then the people who see it or witness it are going to tell their friends who are going to tell their friends, and then you're not going to want to do business with me because I did something bad, then I better be doing good things. And on the other hand, privacy in terms of your own personal rights and your own personal freedom to do what you choose without being scrutinized is lacking, very much so. But I think in terms of this concept of business model evolution, I think it's really powerful that organizations are being forced to be transparent as a result of these interconnected communications. And consumers are finally recognizing and able to take action based upon the power of their dollar vote. Their real vote is economic value. And so this concept of decentralization of information sharing through social media has broken down the corrupted construct that used to be a check and balance system between government and business through media. Media was supposed to be the truth teller, the transparency agency, the agency that uncovers the truth and helps you to know, truly what this business does, or truly what this government organization is doing, or truly what these leaders are doing. But unfortunately, since the vast majority of mass media, all of the major networks and such, are owned by corporations, just like effectively the government is owned by corporations. So they have an agenda based upon what that corporation would like to promote. And the vast majority of that tends to be negative and defeating and hopeless, and really not, I think, representative of the truth in our society. And that is that we have a lot of passionate people who want to help people and want to do good work and want to bring value to our communities. But that's not what's broadcast in mainstream media. And so social media is enabling these other information streams where people can recognize that they're not alone in wanting to do good and wanting to create value and wanting to help people. And not only are we not alone in our own nations and our own communities, but we're not alone globally. We're finally more interconnected as a human species than ever before, and more aware of how, while we might be different breeds because we evolved in different parts of the world, we are all humans. And we need to start working together a lot more effectively if we're going to overcome the great challenges that we have in our society around things like climate change and things like food quality and food scarcity and fresh water and these real fundamental, fresh air, fundamental components to humans being able to continue to live on this planet. And so, the overview effect is a nice little 19-minute video created by some people who went to space. And when you get this perspective from space, you get to see how profoundly we are this little blip in this huge universe. And we are on spaceship Earth, as Buckminster Fuller said, and how our spaceship is protected by this very thin layer called the ozone layer, which protects us from the harshness of space, and how we are rapidly depleting our own protection from space and altering our climate and changing our own ability to survive here. And so all of these different aspects of how the world goes round and how we are affecting our world that we are going around on are coming more broadly to light, and more people are becoming aware of these concepts and aware of how our own individual actions affect these concepts. And that leads to how businesses are becoming more transparent, because people are communicating about these impacts that these organizations are having on our own ability to continue to exist on this planet. So sustainable business, sustainable for humanity, not just to sustain the business organization itself, because that in and of itself won't survive without humanity, but sustainable business for humanity is the business of the future. It's the business that people will put their dollars into. That's why organizations that brand themselves as having a minimal, if not beneficial, impact on the environment and on communities and on their employees and their customers and their product qualities, these sorts of things, goes a long way in terms of how effective the organization is at gaining market share, because people want to purchase from a company that does good. Now, there's definitely the concept of greenwashing, and a lot of organizations practice that, where they utilize the latest terms in branding for goodness without actually being good. But I believe that these concepts of transparency through consumer value, consumer rating systems, and consumer communications are forcing these organizations to really finally step up to the plate and not just say we're doing good, but actually do good. And there are a lot of organizations like B Lab that supports the Benefit Corp certification and Benefit Corporation legal status, and the GEARS, the Global Impact Investment Rating System. These are different components of measuring the sustainability of an organization. And Richard Branson, Arianna Huffington's new B team in New York is doing going to, I'm sure, do some great work in this space, but they're still kind of forming. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble. But effectively, this is my mission in life, is to pursue sustainable business model innovations. And I am very excited to be done at ASU, because now I can commit my time and energy to this work that I've been so passionate about for so long. And I'm continuing to mentor and support Greenlight Solutions, the student chapter at Arizona State University, and co-found a parent organization that will support those student chapters, the first one at ASU and then others down the road. And I'm also working on another initiative that I'm really excited about. I'm working with a nutrition company that's helping a lot of people to live healthier and helping a lot of people to decentralize opportunity. Because in many ways, our income and growth and success opportunities have been hoarded by the 1%, and the 99% have very limited opportunities. And in terms of sustainable business model innovation, referral-based marketing, network marketing, whatever you want to call it, affiliate marketing, is all part of the same sort of business model evolution process, because it's that whole concept of transparency. It's if they're paying people to refer their product or their service, and if you don't have a quality product or service, who's going to put their name on the line? Who's going to say, hey, I would like you to try this because I like it and because I think it's really going to help you, and you know me, you like me, you trust me, and I'm putting that on the line when I recommend this to you. And so this concept forces more transparency, forces more quality and genuine goodness in the organization that uses this model. And I really believe that this model is a step in the right direction. I think it's still evolving. I think it's improving. I think some organizations are doing it a lot better than others. And I'm really excited to be working with one. And I'm launching the biggest venture of my life to date right now. It is February 4th, 2014. I'm 30 years old, and it's about damn time, I say. And I'm really excited. And I'm working with some really awesome people, and our team is growing. And we are open to adding people to our team if people are interested in working with us to build something great to help a lot of people live healthier and to find our own financial freedom and time freedom so we can continue to pursue what we're passionate about in terms of helping people, in terms of creating goodness in society. So that's my story. If you want to know more, feel free to send me a private message and I'd be happy to talk to you more about this. Otherwise, be well.